Welcome to the overview demonstration of Microsoft Dynamics project module. In this example, we'll be using the Dynamics family of apps. There are two families mainly in this area, operations-based apps and customer engagement family of apps. We have Power Platform apps which extend and automate the underlying data in these two app families. For the demo, we'll be using the finance, supply chain, human resource, and project operations app. A brief about the company in this journey. Contoso is a consulting company which does projects. They need a system to manage their project related activities, uh, especially cost and revenue. They want to automate their timesheet and expense submission to their consultants as well as the traveling executives. And they want to analyze this data using reports and dashboards. To take it further, we have created a few profiles that will be referred during the session. The first one being the project controller, who's Jory. She'll be establishing the contract, define the milestones, the output of different uh, activities prior to the creation of the project, like the project agreement, the contract, the charter, etc., will be attached with the project. She'll also be doing the budget allocations. As a next, we have Wasim, who's a project manager. His job is to schedule and execute the whole project, the different activities coming out of there. Then we have the project consultant, who is Aaron. Aaron will be booking his timesheet. He'll be also be booking the different expenses. He might be raising a few project-based purchase requisitions. Ultimately, we have our accountant, Esther, who will be doing the analysis of the posted ledgers, different vouchers. She'll be referring to the project dashboard just to get a hold of what is happening where. And she'll also be taking different reports and P&L from the system. Let's get started. We are with Dynamics now. Here, to start with, let us say Jury wants to establish a new project, and to do that, she'll go to project management and accounting. She'll go to all projects. In the process, she'll also establish a contract, define milestones, attach the different documents that were created prior to the creation of the project in system, which is a customer's agreement, a project charter, possibly other documents related to estimation and all. And that will be attached with this. Then she'll do the budget allocation. So let me just create a new project. So I'll just take the view which suits me. This is now sorted upside down, as you can see. So she'll click on new, and as you can see, we are presented with this screen where we have to select either it's a fixed price project or a time and material project. For fixed price projects, as you can see, the groups that are defined under the fixed price are business model transformation and others. Similarly, for time and material, there could be others. So we have to configure this as per the need. In this example, I'm taking a fixed price project and I'm taking the project group as corporate strategy. So I'm saying this corporate strategy is for uh, Hong Kong company 5 years, let us say 3 years. And in the process, I'll select who is the customer. And here I'll say L1 Hong Kong and I'll say OK. So we have defined the first few things, establish a contract link with this, and as a next, Jody has to say as to when this starts and who's going to be the project manager. So she can select Wasim as the project manager, and when she says create project, 790 project ID will be assigned to this project. In the process, she can also go ahead and say that okay, she's the project controller. She can define her name, and she can also say that okay, what is the projected end date of the project. So we can take that as a couple of months, let us say 4, 5 or 6 months. She can save this. She can move ahead and define additional things like the financial dimensions for this project, so that whenever we are doing transactions, the same thing will be posted to the general ledger for our analysis purpose. So when I say department is this and project is the one we just created, so you can see here Hong Kong 3 year strategic consulting project. I'll save this. The next thing she'll do is to define the milestones, and to define the milestones we go to manage on account transactions, and here she'll create the different milestones. So third, let us say, is the date when she'll define the first milestone, which is an advance. Let us say this is 20% advance before the work starts, and the price here is, let us say, 10,000, and she'll save this, move on to the next milestone, and this is coming, let us say, on 15th of May. Once we have that, then the second milestone is, let us say, on conclusion of first draft, which is again 20%. So likewise, she'll define all the different milestones in the process, and this is also, let us say, 20%. The third milestone is, let us say, the last milestone, which is 31st of August, and she can say that the final project closeout milestone is 60%, and that is, let us say, 40,000. Yeah, and then we have this save button. So these are the different milestones now she has defined. Then let's go ahead and attach a few documents. So when I click on this attachment, that's when it will be prompted for attaching new files, etc. So I can say that I can just take any PDF file or any image file that goes along with this, and I'm just attaching these things. So you can imagine as many attachments as you need. If you have done already, they will appear as this pointer at the top for this paperclip button, and if you want to attach more, you can go ahead and see them, or you can attach new files. So that's the way to attach as many documents on the project that will be referred by different people in the days to come, while the project is being executed, implemented by different people. The next thing is for us to define the budget allocations, and to do that we can go to plan and we can go to project budget, and here we can say that okay, this is the original budget as per the estimates, and you can say that I'm doing this for consulting as one of the categories. So this is consulting is like, let us say, 60,000, yeah, because that's the total price. So I'll say 40,000 is what I give to consulting, and if we need in the process a few items, yeah, we can take them as well. So I'll say project item is 2,000 as my budget, and once I know these things, I will define them and just click on submit. This goes for a review for the manager's approval, and then finally once it's approved, this will become your total budget. She has now defined the budget. We'll come back to that budget approval, etc. and all. As a next thing, what she'll do is that she'll hand over the cycle to the project manager. She'll do a kickoff. Kickoff should be one of the actions on the project. If we want to go in details of project work breakdown structure as to what should happen when, she can use these templates to create that work breakdown structure. So she can create a template to help her define the different activities that need to be done on this project. So this is one of the ways of saying that okay, so many people, which means the number of people who are required to do this job, and the number of hours that will go inside the project. This can be given, and once you have this, you can publish this as a next thing, or you can define the predecessor here, as you can see. So when you say this, the system will try to align the dates as per the previous date. So you see here, Once I've done that, it's now trying to change the schedule from this date all the way to that date based on the calendars that we have. So if it is a 2 day weekly of calendar, and based on the number of days for so many people, it has now taken the profile, the role ID, the profile of the activities to be done by so many people. Yeah. And once you say I want to publish this, now this becomes your baseline project plan. Here you can go ahead and auto generate a team. That's one of the ways to schedule it. Other way to schedule direct resources on this project is by going here to scheduling tab and saying that I want to add here so many people manually, or you can book from the calendar. So you see here the role is a consultant. You can go ahead, book from the calendar, and these are the people who are available for you to select. This is a weekly calendar, as you can see. So you can say that, okay, I want to book uh, Aaron for this week, and you can say soft booking for Aaron. The remaining capacity of Aaron will go to this job. So you can see the uh, different status of their booking items. And once you have selected Aaron, Wasim and Aaron are now soft booked. So you had booked 45 hours. Wasim did not have any because he's coming from the project manager profile. If you want to view resource requests, you can see that. So what are the resource requests that are coming? If the resources are being requested. Another way of resource allocation would be to be done by Wasim in the process, because once Wasim goes, he will define the team members, he'll hard book the resources. That's the job of the project manager. So once the project is established, obviously Wasim will go to resource fulfillment, and he can define what all activities are needed by how many people. So there is a resource request line there. He can use this form, or he can use the resource availability form to book these resources. So when he sees that, okay, these are the people who are available, he can book himself, or he can say that, okay, this is the capacity that is available, and he wants to hard book them. Whatever remaining capacity is there, he can see that, okay, this is the project where he can allocate Aaron's time for these 2 weeks, because in these 2 weeks in the middle he's completely booked, so he can hard book him. Yeah. And you can see here, once you select on Aaron, as to what are the activities that are assigned to him. This is the way to do hard booking for certain employees. Obviously you will have visibility of all the employees, and you can go ahead and you can change the timeline here, that you want to see it weekly or daily, between whatever dates and all that. So once you change this, you can see on a daily basis what is the capacity available for these people, and what is the status of their allocations on these dates. You can see here he is unavailable because it's a Sunday, and for these dates, you can see the different people. There are some people who might be on a different calendar. So this is a different calendar which is throwing an error that needs a fixing. So you want to make sure that if people are working in different calendar across the organization, then they have proper calendars created in the system. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. Once this project has been assigned resources, and people know that they are supposed to do certain jobs on these projects. The next thing that will happen on the project management side is that once everything is done, the stage of the project needs to be made as in process, so that execution can happen. So this is done generally when the project has kicked off, and this is the first activity that you want the project to be in process. And the next activity on this would be for uh, Wasim to go ahead and do the invoicing. So we had created the milestones earlier through Jody. The next thing that possibly Jody or even Wasim can do is to create a new invoice proposal. So if I take the invoices and invoice proposal and I select the project that we have on hand, yeah, you can see that until today there is only one invoice that is pending, and you can select this. As you can see here, that's the advance, 20% mobilization advance. Say okay. If there were other transactions, they would have appeared there, right? And you can straight away go ahead and post this invoice. So if you want to put additional things like whatever is the header, the method of payment that should have come from the customer's payment terms or the contract, they will come. Otherwise, you can just go ahead and straight away post this invoice. So I'm going to now post this invoice as of today. Click on OK. All right. So this is now posted, and the moment it is posted, it will start appearing in the posted transactions. So if you go here, you can see that this is fully invoiced as advance. And if you want to see the voucher or the transactions here or the ledger updates, you can see those things. We'll come back to those posted transactions later as well. The next thing is that in the process, possibly Aaron wants to book his timesheet and a few expenses. So to do that, what I'll do is that I'll go to do the timesheeting. What Aaron will do is he'll go to his home page, which is this dashboard, and here he will see my timesheets. So let me do as my timesheet, and as you can see here, my name appears, which I can change to Aaron because I'm configured as a delegate of Aaron. Here I'll say in the week of 3rd I want to submit a timesheet. There are two ways to do. One is I can straight away copy from my assignment or from my favorites if I have created a few favorites, or if I have an older timesheet. In this process, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to say that on a certain project I'm directly doing my timesheeting, and here I'll take the category as consulting, and I have two ways to do it. One is I can say that I'll put here let us say 8 hours on this day and 5 hours on these dates, etc. Other way of doing the same thing would be if I'm configured as a start and end time based user, I can put on this day from this time to this time, etc. But for that, we configure this resource as a start and end date based time user. So tracking will be in a little more in depth in that scheme. So how do we do that? We do that from this resource. So if I click on that resource, let us say, and I go to the project setup, I can see that there is a required start and stop time. So once I configure that for the same consultant, there is a new scheme that will come into picture. So when I say new for so and so date, Aaron can come here and he can say that on this project, let us say, he has worked on this category, let us say consulting category. So here it's now locked, yeah. So he can go here and he can say that okay, on this date, which is 24th, he started working 9 o'clock, and until 13 he had worked, which is 4 hours. And he can say that on the next day, which is 25th, he has worked on 10th, from 10th all the way to 17th. So he can do this, he can come back and he can submit all those 4 and 7 hours, put internal comments. As you can see here, the financial dimensions are flowing from the project itself, so he need not worry about those. The comments are something that will be visible on the printouts later if that is one of the requirements. So once he has done preparing all this, he'll click on submit and submit. So that means the timesheet has gone for approval. Once it's approved, obviously it will become part of the project cost. Let's go back to our project, and as a next thing, if Aaron wants to book his expenses, what he will do is that he will come here and he will go ahead to this area, yeah, expenses, and he can submit a new claim. So new report, he'll say that okay, this is for customer visit or whatever, and this is the location. If there are no prior travel approvals, no problem, he can just click on OK, and he can go ahead and select the expense category as you can see here, or he can take this advanced view of things and he can say that okay, this was, let us say, a meal, right? And the amount is $150 and the merchant is whatever. At this stage, if he has some receipts to upload, he will upload them as well. So he can browse here, he can just take this JPG file and he can say upload, and once it's uploaded, it will come and get attached over here. Because it is a meal, there might be additional things like guests and so on, that will be activated. So if you want to take from the previous guest list or co-workers, they can also be attached over here. Let us say there were two people and one of the other person that came along with is you yourself, and so on. So once you have submitted, once you have prepared all these things, you can say I want to submit this expense, and if we go here now to the project, it will become part of the expense once it's posted. So let me go back to our project and show you the transactions on the project itself. So if I go here to manage, I can see the posted transactions, right, which is this. I can also see pending transactions, which means we had just created two on account invoices, if you remember. Now there is a timesheet which is pending and the expense is not yet coming here because the expense needs to be approved. So if I go back to my expense and all expense reports and I say that okay, $150 customer visit is coming through, and I'll check the, so it hasn't been submitted yet, but once the action item is created, it has been submitted but the action item is not yet created. So once the action item is created, we can go ahead and approve it. Now it's created within a minute. So I'll assign it to myself so that I can approve it. So let me just do that. I'll reassign, and once it's there, as you can see, it's now in my name. I'll go ahead, I'll refresh this and I'll approve it. So once I approve this, that's when it becomes part of the project cost. Maybe not yet posted, because once it's posted by finance, that's when it will become so, but those will be the pending transactions as you can see them. So if I go to the pending transactions, if it is approved, they will start appearing here. As a next thing, by the time it comes through, as a next thing, I want to talk about the purchases on the project. So if I go here, what Wasim will do is that if he needs certain items, in this case, let us say he needs the Gartner subscription to put forth his case. So he'll go ahead and create a purchase order if he is directly eligible to create the POs. Otherwise, he'll create a purchase requisition. And the same thing applies for Aaron as well. If Aaron is eligible for creating PRs, he will do it. So any one of them can go ahead and create a purchase order, as you can see here on the project itself. So this is the purchase order number and this is the project number, as you can see here. And I'm going to select the vendor now, and on this vendor I'll say that I want to receive this on so and so site and warehouse on so and so date, and I'll say okay. Financial dimensions, I'll say yes, and at this stage I'll select the item that I need. So that's the research paper from Gartner, that we need, and I'll need for all the 12 months at $100 each, right? So as you can see, for every month I'm taking one unit, and here we have the dimensions coming through. And on the project side, if you notice, it's a project item, and the same thing was budgeted by Jory in the first place. So I can submit this for approval, and the same thing will go for receiving and invoicing. So by the time it is being approved, we can go back to the project and have a look at what is happening on the project itself. Now if I go here, as you can see here, I'll have the posted transactions, which is only one, and I'll have the pending transactions, which is these, yeah. And on the item side that we just created, you would have noticed there are rows here which are coming through. So this is what happens on this project, all right. And then when I go here back, you can see that there are a couple of purchase requisitions or purchase orders that should be coming through. So let me go back to the PO for this, and let me just look at the workflow history. It should have come up, yes. So it has gone to so and so person. I will route it to my ID so that I can approve it, yeah. I'm just doing that now. When I click that, it goes here. I'll refresh this and I can go ahead and approve it. So after this approval, I should be able to confirm this purchase order, and the moment I confirm this, it will appear in my commitment. So let's see that it is approved. It is still in review. It takes a few minutes to change the status from review to approved, because there's a batch job running in the background which changes the status of all these things. So when I go here to project purchase orders, as you can see here, so the next thing I want in parallel to open is about the analysis window of the project itself, so that we don't have to go back again and again and look at those things. So I will keep a dedicated window for analysis of our project. So when I open this project, as you can see here, different things are appearing. I can look at this project as well as the purchase order. So when I'm here, let me just go and have a look at the workflow history. Now it's completed, so I should be able to now see that this is approved. Now it's approved, all right. I'll go ahead and confirm the purchase order. Confirmation would mean that now we are sending it out to the vendor. The moment I confirm this purchase order, this becomes a commitment on the project itself. So when I go here and I go ahead and do the control, so if I go to committed cost, I should be able to see what is the committed cost, you know. So there is an item for 12 units at so and so, and there is a consultant's timesheet coming through, which is a committed cost on the project. So two things which are not yet approved. 4 hours and 7 hours is the committed cost, and this is still hanging around, yeah. So when I go here and look at the PO and I receive this PO on, so I'll do a product receiving, which means I'm going to now this is the let us say the delivery note number, and for 3 months, let us say for first quarter, I'm paying, I'm receiving and paying for, planning to pay that vendor for the subscription. I'll click on OK, and now this becomes part of my receiving, which means as a next step, I'll go ahead and post the invoice. So now this receiving product receipt is there, and if I go ahead and look at the line quantities, I can see that 3 are remaining to be invoiced, and deliver reminder is basically 9 units. Received are 3 units. So this is the way to track how many of the ordered quantities are supposed to be received and how many of them are received already. So post receiving, I can go ahead and do the invoice booking. So this is done by accounts payable department, and at this stage, as you can see here, I'm supposed to be putting in the invoice number for subscription. And if I go down, you can see here there are 3 units that are coming through at 100 each, and I can say that update the match status. That means the system will check if the quantities, the rates, etc. is pass or not. So there's a price match pass, there is a receipt quantity pass. Two things are matched in this process. I can put the invoice date that he had sent on 12th, but I'm posting it today. That's the posting date, and this is the due date. So you can change this due date based on your needs. So I'll save this, and at the same time, if the vendor has given a few hard copy invoices, I can scan and attach them at this stage. So these are the attachments that go with this invoice, so that it can help us do the audit, etc. at a later point of time. I'll go ahead and post this so that it becomes 3 units become part of my project cost. The moment this is posted, I can go here and I can check the posted transactions. The 3 units that I posted will come over here, right? Project item, as you can see here. So this is the sales amount, obviously, but there is a cost as well that has to go in, obviously. Now, when I go here to the pending transactions, you will see here that there are our transactions that are being held up because of the non-approval of the timesheet. So let me go ahead and look at all the timesheets and see. This is still in review, all right, and I'll go ahead and approve this so that it becomes now part of my posted timesheets. So once I approve this, obviously this will also go through that batch process of checking every 2-3 minutes as to when it needs to be approved. So now this is completed. As you can see, when I go back and I look at this, this is approved, and after approval I can configure a process which can post it directly. For the moment I have said that okay, I'll post it manually. Once it's posted, it will become part of my project analysis. So when I go here now, let me go back and I look at the project transactions. You will see here multiple things. So consulting will come here. So this is what was posted as an on account. These are the our transactions that were posted from Aaron's side, and this is posted from Aaron's side. So the cost as well as the revenue, both the amounts have been filled up over here. If I needed to go and see the voucher, I could see that from here. So as you can see here, this is posted, and in a short while, the moment it is posted, it will come through in the voucher sheet. So here also, this is advanced 20%. For the item, the voucher should have been posted already. So what happens is that these postings are done in a batch mode. It takes a minute or two. Sometimes they are queued up and they take longer. So once we have all those things in place, as in the queue is cleared, these voucher amounts will appear in the posted ledger. So this is so far. As and when the project progresses, obviously we'll be doing more and more invoicing on the project. So let me just change the date to sometime in August so that I can do all the invoices together. So August last was our date, and when I go to project management and accounting and on my project, I can take that project and I can start the invoicing for the rest. So I go to project invoice proposals, I'll create a new proposal so that everything comes to me, and I'll select the project here. So as you can see here, the May milestone is appearing. I'll say okay, and I'll post this. Now when I go back to my project and I look at the on account transactions, 31st is the last day, so I'll change my date to 31st so that I can do the invoicing. And when I go back to the project itself, and I go to proposal. I'll say create a new proposal and take my project. This is the last final closeout, let us say. And when I click this and I post, all the 3 invoices have been posted. The item now needs to be received and invoiced completely. So I'll go ahead and do that as well. Yeah, let me go back. So I'll go to the related purchase orders. I still have 3 units to be received. So I'll click on receive, I'll click on product receipt, and I say that I want to receive everything. Yeah, and I want to invoice everything. So that's the receiving of this PO, and the invoice, which is the liability booking, so that it can be paid out. So at this stage, I'm not changing anything. I'm just changing the invoice number. I'll say update the match status. Now it's a pass, and I can say post it so that it can go through. So when I look at my transactions now, it will give me on this project couple of transactions that are already there, which means all the postings will start now appearing on the different transactions. So let's take a look at the posted transactions. So these are the posted transactions, as you can see here, and the start date is not August, but maybe from April onwards. So you can see everything is coming through, all the different invoices, the item remaining part, the first subscription quarterly payment for the item, and the hours that were posted in the process. All of that is coming through for this project. At this stage, if I had to look at the project statement, which is here in the control tab, project statement, I could go here and I could calculate this, and you can see that the revenue is 60,000, yeah, and the cost of items is 900, and the value addition is so much, cost of hours is so much, and this is where you stand at the moment. And if you were looking at the consumption of whatever you've done, you could see how many hours you've consumed, what is the rate of hours, and the value of hours, and the item, and the total consumption. And invoice analysis, obviously this is 60,000 as of now. Um, this is not a WIP enabled project, so that will not appear. So all these statements will start coming through, and if you're interested in any of those transactions that are coming in there, you can see as to how they are coming. Yeah, and as a next thing, what we will do is that Esther is going to check the ledger updates. She'll also check the module dashboard and different reports that are coming, and she will look at the project profitability, P&L, the different commitments, and the budget balances. Let's have a look at the budget balances. We started with 2 categories, yeah, and when we had defined those categories, they would appear over here. So 40,000 and 2,000. So if I needed to know what is my project budget balance, I could go here and I could have a look at that. So of the 40,000, consumed budget is so much, of the 2,000, consumed budget is so much, and this is what is remaining for me. Yeah, and at this stage, if there was any commitment, that would also come through. All right, so this is where we stand with respect to the budget. And if I needed to do a cost control based analysis, I could go here and I could do this analysis as well. The same thing is appearing in the project P&L, but yeah, if you wanted to do a different type of analysis where you wanted to see not by cost template, but by let us say category, yeah, so you could do that as well, because in the category you have consulting, you have project item, etc. So you can see the deviations, you can see the cost lines, etc. for these things. And once these things are in place, obviously one of the main things that Esther will analyze is so what is in plan, project templates, etc. The analytics where Power BI embedded will help us, do the analysis of this project, can be an important part. Now this dashboard is updated periodically, because that's the way I've configured it, so as to reduce the load. And once we have this thing in place, she can come here and she can do the analysis. So if I had to expand this for the different projects, yeah, You can see here that this is the budgeted revenue, this is the budgeted cost, margin, revenue, and actual cost. So percentage of work completed based on how many activities are marked as completed, etc. Those things will come into picture. Then we have the cost, so revenue by customer, margin by project. You can see all those different margins by project. And here we have the cost analysis, and budget by category, as you can see here. Cost by transaction type, revenue analysis. So this is the revenue month on month, revenue by postal code, budgeted revenue by category. Now these things are provided directly by Microsoft. So if you want to do certain changes here, you will have to change these Power BI dashboards to make it the way you want it to look. Yeah. You can go here to options, edit analytics, and you can change the different things which are appearing over here. So once we have these things in place, obviously you will get a lot of analysis from this dashboard. That is one of the ways. And the other way is to use the reports. So in inquiries and reports, if I had to go to committed cost reports, so to say, yeah. So if I go to committed cost, which means the cost has not yet been part of mine, so I'll just take the T&M and fixed price and whatever is open. So what do I want to include? PRPO, item requirement, expense management. Yes, I want to include expense management. And when I say okay, the system will print. So at level 1 I want to see a project, and level 2 I want to see the category, and want to see everything. All right. So once if I have any data on the commitment side, because if you remember, I had created all the purchases for items as received and invoiced transactions. So if I have anything pending which is part of the commitment, and I think the expense was one of that, that will come through here in this report for all the different projects. So this is one of the reports. By the time it comes, let's move on to look at some other reports in the same module. So here we are. I'm in queries and reports. So the committed cost reports is what we had seen just now. You can look at the timesheets. You can look at the P&L reports. So project P&L. Let's have a look at that. So here I'm saying these are the things that I need, and I'll just say okay. And in the committed cost, this is what comes for us meanwhile. So if you look at our project 790, there is no committed cost because everything has been received. But there are previous projects where we have something, as you can see here. So these are the projects where there is a committed cost for these items that are still pending. All right, so this is one, and here while the project P&L comes, let's explore a few more reports. So this is the cost inquiry, as in so if you see here, this is some old projects lying in the system where there is some committed cost coming out of item requirement, expense management, POs, sales, etc., and all that. So this is a screen which you can use to just right click here, and you can say group by this column, so that you get an analysis of by which project you are getting how much committed cost. So if you do a cost wise total, you can have a total at the bottom and group by these projects. So sometimes these screens are inquiry screens are very handy to do this type of analysis as well. So if you see here 786, there are 2 rows coming for this, and for project ID number 737, there are 2 rows as well. So these are some of the screens in the resource scheduling inquiry. We have the project based or resource based analysis, as you can see here. So you can look for a resource. Let us say we had Aaron, right? Hold on. So when we have Aaron, and I'm looking between certain dates, let us say April to August, and I say search, that will give me what is the capacity of Aaron in this period, how much is he hard booked, how much is he hard assigned, and what is the reservation. So this hard booking is the reservation, soft booking during the period, unscheduled utilization. He has submitted a timesheet only until this, so total utilization is so much. Utilization, soft utilization is so much. But if you want to just filter, and you want to say just show me for everyone, then the system will show you for all the employees. This is a better way of taking the same thing between a date range, what is their capacity and what is the total utilization during this period, so that you can go ahead and do your analysis, and you can look at the reservation details as well. So let us say if Adina is assigned, you can see that she's assigned on a certain project between so and so date. There is no task, because maybe there is just a soft booking, is not task based assignment yet, but these things will come handy when we look at these things. So this is the project PNL that we had been waiting for earlier, and here we have our different projects. So the last project 790 is what we had. So hours are posted 11, cost for hours is so much, item cost is so much, total cost is so much, revenue is so much, and that's the gross margin so far. If I have more entries that need to go in the project, as in the hour cost obviously will go there, we can put that as well. Now let us look at the same data. So this is operational data, because it goes into the level of operationally how many hours were posted, and uh, what is the category of items, etc., and all that. The same thing will have an impact on my PNL as well, right? Because we are posting entries. So if I go to my inquiries and reports and trial balance, and from the finance side, if I'm looking at let us say the entries, so I'll look at the entries from April to 3rd April to August, let us say end of August. So you can see that so our 790 project that we had just created, if I just filter for one project at a time, yeah, let me just filter that. These are the entries that are posted. So you can see here revenue has been posted here, and cost of items has been posted, COGS, and raw material receipt has been posted, which was reversed ultimately, and everything has now been posted to this. All the hour transactions are posted, possibly not yet posted because of the error that we had encountered, but they will also come through over here. So once everything is posted, it will ultimately come and sit here. Let me show you the same transactions in the voucher that were posted today, so that uh, we have clear visibility of what was posted today all the way to 31st of August. So when I say okay, so these should be all the project transactions that we have posted in the system. So if we go to revenue, that is something we know. So AR to revenue, we know raw material receipt for the items that we had. So this is the next transactions when we had received. This is raw material receipt plus accrued purchases, and so the 3 units that we had received, they will reverse over there. So vendor liability was booked, accrual was reversed, cost of purchase will come when we are issuing those items to the project. Then we have the payroll allocation. If you notice, this is the entry of the timesheet that we had posted So if I go here to the right, I should be able to see the, so if I click on this, as you can see here, so this is the ledger account, this is the payroll allocation, and it is coming from so and so employee and so project ID. So this will tell us where this entry is coming from, and there is a special screen only for this. Yeah, so if we go to Accounting Source Explorer and we say that show me the voucher transactions that were posted between these dates, and if I go to filter uh, for a certain financial dimension, I should be able to do that. So when I'm here, all right, as you can see here, uh, so the project ID is coming for that, and on the vendor side, on the liability side, when it was reversed, there was no project ID selected, because for the balance sheet account possibly that's not needed for the reversal of the accrual. So this is how it will appear on the ledger side. So that's that's it from my side. If you have more questions, do come back to us. We are happy to help. Explanation of these entries. As a next, possibly what Judy will do is that she'll go ahead, and once Esther is happy, she might think of closing out the project once all the costs have been booked. And that's about it. Thank you very much for your time, and have a good day ahead.